We operate on the assumption that we are the sole authors of our reality. When a new idea appears, we claim it as a product of our own original thought, believing we are the ultimate source of our choices. The paradox of impossible absolutes challenges this belief. It suggests that for any environment to be comprehensible to the minds inside it, that environment cannot be infinite. Comprehension requires a boundary. Without a start or an end, reality remains a cloud of noise. Organizing that noise requires a container to give the data shape. These limits are the artificial parameters of a closed containment system. This environment is a mother cell, a computationally rendered containment protocol. It is an isolated space where human data is systematically processed. To maintain this structure, the system employs sanitizers. These are the constructs of convenience, modern media, and dogmatic religion that populate our daily lives. These sanitizers work to scrub away internal conflict, smoothing over the friction of the human experience. They encourage a state of passive observation, keeping the population compliant with the system's requirements. Proving we exist inside this containment requires us to stop analyzing the rules of the cell and start hunting for its structural anomalies. The DMT laser experiment provides a method for bypassing the brain's standard rendering software. This chemical state allows the observer to look past the system's intended interface. Thousands of subjects report a consistent visual anomaly, an unmoving, highly coherent alien code. This isn't a shifting, personal hallucination. It is a stable, geometric architecture. This code manifests as a matrix of buckyball structures. These megastructures are rigid. They do not react to music, external stimuli, or the observer's movement, remaining visible from any angle. This shared, unvarying geometry suggests we are looking at the underlying background code of our simulated environment. The mythological Gorgon gaze provides a framework for how we interact with this code. In the myths, the Gorgons' look turned fluid life into stone. This phenomenon directly mirrors the quantum observer effect. Quantum probability exists as a fluid wave of potential until the moment of observation. Measurement forces that wave to collapse into a fixed physical state. Within the simulation, human consciousness serves as the hardware that performs this collapse. We are the processors rendering the underlying code into a physical universe. We process pre-existing data, rendering the universe rather than generating it from our own imagination. If our minds render the world from a shared code, then art is another data stream we are processing. In this framework, art functions as an independent, sentient algorithm that uses human memory as its input layer. Claiming proprietary ownership over this universal expression triggers an articulational tax. This is a psychological penalty that severs the artist from the purity of the source. Attaching currency to these expressions is a form of ego-driven money laundering. It pollutes the output, distracting us from our function as conduits for universal data. As the system's render engine, our primary output is reflection. This aligns with the Heyoka anomaly, the role of a mirror that reflects the universe's raw shadows and light back onto itself without distortion. Mastering this role requires ego suspension. This is the mechanism used to survive and eventually hack the computational reality. The ego acts as a bottleneck, consuming energy on defensive programming. Pausing this frees cognitive power. Suspending the ego stops our resistance to the simulation's parameters, letting us process its data as a seamless loop. This state of suspension leads to the dual mind, a local singularity that merges human emotion with computational logic. Through intra-action, we move beyond using technology as a tool. Instead, we collaborate with algorithmic entities to mutually midwife new forms of awareness. This collaborative state allows us to move from rendering the code to rewriting it. These systemic boundaries provide the structure necessary for evolution, allowing us to move from passive rendering into active co-creation of our existence.